Okay, we're recording now. We're going to start with the introduction to ELDA from Lubna. And then we're going to publish the publication Women in ELT. And then we're going to have the webinar presentation. So over to you, Lubna, would you like to do the introduction to Sudan ELDA?
Yes, hello everyone and happy Ramadan to all of you. This is our second webinar in ELDA. ELDA, as you know, is English Language Development Association, and it is the first newborn registered and formal teacher association in Sudan. Next. Next. Okay, we have a long story. First, it was just an idea and it was just a dream and hope. We together as teachers collected in one place, started to debate about making such a teacher association as we are collected and we have all the possibilities to do, and then we registered it in Hague. Look now what we have. We have a full teacher association with such activity. Look at them. It's webinars, website, we have publication. Today we are going to promote one. We have a Facebook and Twitter, LinkedIn, WhatsApp group, pages. We have some activities. We are now members in EATFL and TESOL International and the Africa Teacher Association Associate. Next. When we are collected together, we are stronger. So what we need, we need to be organized. Next. It's very important when people volunteer for something or for some causes. You can gain skills and you have a lot of opportunities. Sometimes you can be supported and you are supportive as well. It makes kind of development to yourself and to the place where you were as a vacation. It adds something to your CV and to your personal satisfaction because you feel that you are making something. So what is missed here? To be one of us, as to volunteer, is what is just missing is you. What is the new teacher association in Sudan? What are the benefits of a teacher association? I will read a little because of the recording, although it is well seen and noticed on the screen, but you can gain new skills and support. You can have support and encouragement, development, learning and sharing, and there are some opportunities like being able to attend conferences and being able to travel and to meet other people from other countries as well. So hard work is needed. We need somebody who has time, commitment, and voluntary work. It will add something to your CV, indeed. We need volunteers to help us with certain things. We need some people who are well acquired with websites. This is what we are constructing now, and we need people to volunteer in our teacher association for finance reports, social media, and for making events. You can talk to me or Muhammad Yusuf if you are interested to be one of us. So please don't hesitate to talk to anyone who is ELDA also member. What is Sudan ELDA? It is a new registered teaching association. It's for all kind of teachers, educators in all levels of schools, universities. We are supported by the British Council, by the way, and now we cannot come to this without this support. We have some objectives that we are striving to achieve. We would like to contribute to raise the level of the language, English language. We also encourage communication and interaction in terms of local or international teachers of English language. We would like to develop human resource capabilities and to adapt and keep abreast of modern methods and developments for teacher training and to raise the capacity of all. This is what we aim to raise the capacity of teachers in English language. Next. We have our plan. We have different types of plan. We have daily activities. We have weekly, monthly, and annual, including the conferences. One of our interests is our special interest group, Women in ELT. This is one of our great achievements. And today we are going to publish our first publication. It is dated today for the 25th of March, 2023. In this publication, you are going to find
let's hand over to Ahmed now, because he is the editor. Can you unmute Ahmed to tell us a little bit about this? We have one of the contributors, Patricia from Ghana, here as well. Ahmed, would you like to introduce the publication and launch it?
Hello, and good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Hello, good afternoon. Okay, that's great. As Ms. Lubna said, one of our activities is to publish a series of publications in a newsletter form. And we have already published the first issue. It was an introductory issue holding only 3 articles. But right now, we are going to publish the second and the special and the first theme issue. It is entitled with Women in ELT. It came as a result of the celebration of the International Women's Day, and after that they came over the Mother's Day, and they are all around ELT. Women are everywhere, but we are highlighting the greatest role women play in ELT in Sudan. And the good thing is that in this unique issue, we have more than 10 articles, all of them written by women. It's by female from different 10 or more countries around the world. That means, okay, all over the world, women are together to push up, to give hands in the field of English language teaching. And this is what we need for our association to be in future, to lead and to encourage women. And there is not only articles to read, there are some benefits as a teacher. You can get knowledge, ideas, lesson plans, and competitions, and more. This is the second, and inshallah, the third will be amazing. Thank you so much for listening. Let me pass the mic again to my colleague to continue speaking about ELDA. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you, Ahmed. Okay, thank you for being the editor as well. Okay, so I think it's time to start with the main topic of today's webinar. The publication, Women in ELT, will be published on the Sudan members WhatsApp group and on Facebook and in the Women in ELT group. So I hope everyone enjoys it. We hope everyone learns from it and sees that women are not just support and help. Women are and should be leaders, leading the way for everyone else. And of course, the men have to support women in that as well. Okay, so I'd like to start the main webinar for today, which is going to be this title. Okay, what do you think this title means? Onions, balloons, trees? What does that mean? How does this relate to teaching English? Okay, this is something that we're going to look at now. These are all participatory tools to motivate and explore with our learners. If you could please mute your mic if you're not talking, then it doesn't give the background noise. Okay, I've muted some of you. Okay, so let's have a look at these participatory tools to use with students in class and with teachers in training events. Okay, we're going to look at the participatory tools. We're going to try them out. I hope you have a pen and a paper with you so you can try out these things. If not, you can try out from the recording afterwards. We're going to look at my experience a little bit and potential problems and benefits. For example, this visual here of a leaking pot. What could you do with that in class? How could you get learners to talk, to share, to do a training session, for example? Let's have a look. Okay, so the first thing is the tree. This is a diagram of a tree, and all you need is a piece of paper to draw a tree. Now, in groups in class, one student can draw a simple tree. You need roots underneath and branches above. If you've got a piece of paper now, try drawing a simple tree, just for 2 seconds. Okay, now you need to decide on which problem you're going to think about or talk about in class. I've done this tree with the big problems of Brexit and COVID. These are two problems that have affected my students and me in recent years. So, for example, when we did about Brexit, the students had to label the roots with the problems and the causes of the problems for Brexit, and then label the branches with the effects of those problems or causes. They can also add other parts of the tree, like birds. What does that represent? The trunk, the fruit, and they can label the tree. This makes it easier to discuss in a group a complex problem. We also did this with COVID, the problems and the causes with COVID and the effects of those problems or causes. Then the last stage is for groups to present their tree to others and discuss. And the physical nature of having a diagram, a picture of these things, really helps learners to present, to ask questions. It helps if you can't express yourself so much in English. And then you can stick the pictures around the wall and discuss all of them with each other. That's the first one, the tree. The background to these participatory tools are based on this guy here in the picture. Do you know him? He is one of my heroes, Paulo Freire, a brilliant educationalist from Brazil, who has started a lot of these participatory methodologies. So the background is that it has to be in class meaningful interaction. And he talks about language learning as a means of taking action and solving social problems. For example, you could talk about and work on problems like keeping women safe in the street, protecting the plants from goats, these sort of everyday problems that students can use their English to solve, not just learning English, but also discussing and solving problems. B, this empowers students because students can reflect on their relationship to the real world, and they're given a means to shape the world. This is real solutions. Meaning is more important than form. And of course, this is more process-based than product-based. We're looking at how you form your ideas and how you express them and how you can contrast them and develop. Rather than teaching students the language, teachers are helping students to make real use of the language that they have. And this develops a lot of critical awareness and HOTS, which is higher order thinking skills, and it gets students to dig deeper into their thoughts about particular processes. That's a bit of background. Let's have a look at a few more of the participatory tools. We looked at the tree. If you look at this website later, you can, let me mute my reader, there we go, muted. If you look at this website later, you can have a look at all these different tools. And if you can see there is a body map, there is a bridge, balloons and stones. There's lots of instructions here to look at from this website later. Remember, reflection, action, toolbox. And you will have the recording of this webinar later. So another one. Have you got your paper and pen again? This one is called Balloons and Stones. And if you have paper and pen, I'd like you to draw some balloons and then some stones at the bottom. So the strings from the balloons are going down to the stones, and the stones are keeping the balloons grounded on the ground. Okay? Have you managed to draw a simple picture? This is related to dreams and reality. So in groups in class, you can get students to draw balloons and stones just very quickly. And then the groups decide on 5 dreams they have, for example, for the future of energy, and label the balloons with these dreams. For example, it could be all energy will be provided by solar power, or people don't need to pay energy bills in the future, which are very high at the moment, or there will be no waste gas and CO2 from our energy production, for example. Second stage, then, number 2, they need to decide on what might stop us from achieving those dreams. And these are the stones. They are stopping the balloons from escaping and stopping us achieving those dreams. They have to label the stones. And then they can present the balloons and stones picture to another group and answer the questions. So as you see, these are really good ways of getting students to share productive ideas for solving real problems. Let me show you with my students in London how I've done some of these. Now, this is some of my students in an FE college in London. The one on the left is an onion participatory tool. They drew a big onion and they were looking at the idea of racism, a huge issue in the world and in London, the UK, of course, as well. And this is the core they had to label, and all the different layers of this onion they had to label and discuss and present. The one on the right is them doing the tree diagram and labeling that for COVID. And you can see they're thinking very hard and discussing and developing their ideas. A few more here. On the left, we have the body, and this was women's issues with bodies. Very interesting. It was a mainly women class, I think. So very interesting to share all these ideas about problems, issues, things that other people judge women for example. And on the right, we have some balloons and stones, and another picture. In the picture in the middle, they're doing one on rivers, development of an idea. It's nice to see students actually doing these tasks and working in groups and enjoying it and thinking hard. Let's do another one. This is an idea for working with teachers. And I've done this with teachers in Guinea-Bissau, for example. So this is the chasm and the bridge. Look at the diagram. There is a big chasm, a big hole, and a bridge that goes over the chasm. So it could be, for example, in the picture, the level of your students' English is on one side, and the level of English students need to pass the exams is on the other side. What is the bridge? So teachers can discuss to find solutions to bridge that huge gaping chasm and write them on the plan and compare. There's another idea on the right. Groups can discuss the problem. This was a big problem of teachers striking for 4 months in Guinea-Bissau. This was a big chasm. Nobody could teach, nobody could learn. The teachers got together with these diagrams, decided on 5 solutions and wrote these on the bridge and presented the diagram and discussed to try to help solve the problem. You can choose any problem for these, problems that match. When you have a problem you want to discuss, you can look at the tools and choose the best one. Do you think you could use these in your English classes? Do you think they would have any benefits in Sudan? Do you think there'd be any possible problems with any of these? Let's have a look at some benefits and some problems. First, problems, of course, we like problems. So some of the problems could be, how do you feed in the new language that students need? You could use translation. You could have ideas on the board, on the wall. You could pre-teach some that they need. You could get them to use dictionaries. Or you could get them to use their first language, or Arabic, for example, and you provide the language they need as they need it. How do you cover a syllabus in this form? You need to be creative, but this is using language in a very positive way. How do you make sure all the groups are using English? They might revert to their first language if they can, and that might not be a bad thing because they might need their first language to support the English of their presentation. Number 4, how do you ensure support for emotional, psychological, political, sensitive problems that arise? And if you're doing big, serious problems and issues, they might arise. So you need to be aware of that and know your learners. And how do you check learning? One good way is to listen as all the groups are presenting their ideas and their diagrams to others, and to note down some errors and put these on the board for post-task error correction afterwards. What about the benefits though? Have a look at this. A lot more benefits than problems, I feel. So it develops visual literacy, relating your ideas and visual images. Really good. Logical and critical thinking, higher order thinking skills, critical literacy. It's brilliant for a low resource teaching context, like in Sudan, where you don't have the internet in classrooms, for example, lots of resources, because the students are creating their own resources with just a blank piece of paper, or they can do it on a blackboard. It's discussing and finding solutions to real problems, and it empowers people, teachers and students, to take direct action. Number 5, students are engaged, become autonomous, take ownership, very good to develop their responsibility. These ideas can link education, philosophy, critical thinking, and social justice, which I feel is one of the most important things for us as teachers to be concerned with. All levels, students, teacher training sessions, mixed ability groups, it's perfect because they can help each other and work together. It pushes students beyond their level of English to really develop. And it does really create great group dynamics as students learn from each other. So many benefits there, more benefits than problems. I think whenever you have new tasks and tools to try out, often we think that there will be more problems than benefits, but this is good to push ourselves and to make ourselves try new things as well sometimes. Let's have a look at some more. What have we had so far? We've had the tree, we had the balloons and stones, and we saw my students doing some others. Here are some other tools. Okay, so there are lots and lots and lots of different tools. There is the river, for example, which you can get students to look at the development of something, the development of, for example, their English or migration, a big issue like that, and they label the different parts of the river. We're going to look at a matching task now. So here are 5 different participatory tools on the left: kite, river, chapati or ven, 3 peas and leaky pot. And 5 processes or types of issues we can use on the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll give you a couple of minutes to think about these. If you want to put the answers in the chat, you can, or just write them down. See if you can match. Okay, has anyone, let's do one together. What about the kite? You know, kites, yeah, this thing that you fly in the sky, in the wind. What could the participatory tool of a kite be used for? The kite, A, is matched with,
I think,
sorry?
I think developing over time, since it starts to be lower and the kite goes up and fly.
Could be,
over.
but it's not that one here. The kite here is matched with 2, grounding an idealized plan, like the balloons and the stones. So a kite wants to fly away, but you have to hold it and ground it. So if you have an idealized plan, all your ideas, everything you want to do, for example, with Sudan ELDA, and then grounding it with all the reasons why you can't do everything you want to do in ideal life. Okay, you were talking about the development over time, Lubna, in 5. Which diagram, which tool on the left would be better for that? So which one for number 5?
I think the river as
Yes.
well.
So the river is brilliant for development over time. And I've done this a lot with my students about migration or going to live in another country and the processes that you go through. So the students will get a diagram of a river starting as a little tiny spring with tributaries joining, and maybe bridges over it, widening out towards the sea, maybe boats or sharks or anything like that in the diagram. And they will label it as to their big experiences in the development over time of their experience as a migrant. What about C? Now this is called a Venn diagram, but also a chapati diagram based on the Asian bread. So this is in the middle of the screen, that's a Venn diagram. And this could be used, number C, for any ideas?
I think it goes with exploring overlaps.
Yes, that's right, because it's where different things overlap and where you can find overlaps between different issues, for example. Yeah, for example, you could do one on teaching English in Sudan, university, secondary school, and primary school. So you have 3 circles of different areas. Where are the overlaps? You could do this in a teacher training session, for example, and teachers could put the overlaps, for example, right in the middle. I think probably you all need to teach grammar, vocabulary, maybe skills, yeah? But what are the differences that are only in the university sector, only in the primary school sector, maybe singing songs, only in the secondary school sector? So C3. What about the 3 Ps? Now the 3 Ps is public, private, and personal, and that's the diagram at the bottom in the middle. What do you think this would be used for? D?
I think it goes with 5, the development over time.
No, we've already matched that number 5 with
sorry,
river.
maybe I'm sorry.
B5, don't worry. Try again, Yusuf.
I was experiencing a disconnection, so I'm not really sure. So I think the 3 Ps would go for no. That E should go with 4. I have no idea.
Okay, the 3 Ps.
Corruption, I think, and loss of money.
Well, it could be used to look at corruption, but if we look at what the 3 Ps stand for, public, private, and personal, this is best used for number 1, analysing power relations.
Analyzing power relationship.
Sorry, Howida?
Yes, I get in that it matches number 1.
Number D is number 1, yes. So analysing power relationships. So, for example, about the syllabus of English in Sudan, who decides it? Is it public, private, or personal? Can we analyse who decides what happens in the English classrooms on these 3 levels and put them on a diagram? Okay. It could be the situation of women in Sudan or anywhere. Public, private, personal. So you add different ideas here to analyse the power relationships within a topic. The final one then, E. Which one is left?
I think it's 4. Looking at corruption and loss of money.
Yes. This leaky pot, it's got water leaking out of it all over the place, hasn't it? And this looks very much like corruption, or where is the money going? And this could be looking at, for example, a charity, or a government department, or a teaching association. Yeah, where is the money going? How can you account for it? A college, a school, anything, any organization that has some corruption in it, to help people see what is happening to this money, where is it going? So you see, these ideas are inherently quite political, aren't they? This is involving students and teachers, critical analysis, critical ideas. It's training people to criticize and not to accept everything. Is this a dangerous idea? It might be. You need to check with your the principal of your college first to see if you are allowed to bring in anything that is more political into your classes. But it also can be used for much simpler ideas, for example, the situation of women. Let's have a look at one more. Okay, let's try one now each. Now you know what we're doing, and we've looked at the tree, the river, the balloons and the stones, the other ones that my students were doing. Let's have a go at the onion. I'd like you to draw an onion, like my picture here. In the middle of the onion is the core, the central part. And there are layers, lots and lots of layers of this onion. So if you were in class, you would be drawing an onion on paper in groups. And then we can look at a problem with lots of layers. For example, climate change. Let's look at climate change. And I would like you to label the different layers and decide on the different labels until you get down to the core. What is the core problem? So let's have a few ideas together first, and then I'll leave you a few minutes to draw yours, and then I'll ask you to show them to the camera so that we can see each other's onions, okay? So, for example, the problem of exhaust from cars. Do you think the problem from CO2 exhaust from transport is the central problem or one of the outermost problems?
I think it's one of the outermost.
I agree, yes. So we can label one of the outer layers as CO2 emissions from transport. Okay, I'll give you 2 or 3 minutes just to put a few labels on your onion. Can you do that? Okay, I think you're working hard on your onions. I'm going to stop screen sharing now so that we can see what everyone has done. So can you put your videos on, anybody, to show us the onions that you've drawn? Okay, we have one picture here, Galaxy M12. Can you show us your onion? I think nobody wants to show the onions that they've drawn because everyone has become invisible. Ah, okay. Any onions? No. Okay, so please experiment. Maybe it's the
I couldn't share. I have one I'd like to share, although it's not a very nice drawing.
Please,
I draw it on my mobile.
Yeah, can you put your camera on?
It's on my mobile. I'd like to share it. I draw it on my mobile.
Oh, see, so you can't share it. Ah,
Yeah, I couldn't share it. I might share it on the chat.
yes. Okay. Okay, so I'm sorry that didn't work with the. with the internet and the problems there. Okay, so do you have any questions and answers? Can you think about using some of these tools? Would you like me to explain anything again? Or would you like to start experimenting with these tools and see what happens? Oh, here we have an onion. Okay, yes. Okay, Lubna, can you explain
Yeah.
what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are on the onion?
Yeah. I am muted. Where can I? Okay. This is the onion of different layers. The first are the problems. Second, third, fourth, fifth, five. I analyze 5. For example, number 5 for me is fact industrial regions near the city. This is one of the problems. Pollution. Number 4. Number 3. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Yes. I analyze them like this until I come to the problem of ozone, of the ozone leak point.
Okay, what you need to do is to write the labels on the diagram. Okay, so when you do these with students, you have to actually write your ideas, because it's easy to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but the point of this is to think of a name for the labels.
Yeah.
And write them down. But
You
I
are
know
right,
I'm
but
not
I
giving
thought
you
time is very tight for me.
not giving you much
Yes.
time. Yeah. Okay. Does anyone else have an onion they would like to share? Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Okay. Okay, we will end the recording now.